industrial quality product that will help you make clean, accurate cope cuts quickly and safely. The heavy-duty CNC milled aluminum base plate has a textured surface to securely hold parts up to 7 inches wide. The 500-pound quick-set toggle clamps, bolted to solid aluminum clamping blocks, ensure that parts are held square to the fence while absorbing vibration for the best possible cut. One clamp is specifically positioned to hold your backer block where it is needed. The quick-set toggle clamps adjust easily to accommodate different thicknesses for rapid part changes, allowing you to get more done without sacrificing accuracy. The 3/8-inch thick polycarbonate safety visor rides along the fence, guiding the sled over the throat opening so there is no need to cut into the base as most other sleds require. The sturdy handles provide excellent control and comfort when cutting. The confidence this gives results in less hesitation and burning. The Pro Coping sled is also drilled for mounting Infinity Cutting Tool's optional 3/4-inch miter bar in 2 locations, should your operations require it. This truly professional coping sled will let you produce many types of tricky end cuts up to 7 inches wide on your router table or shaper in less time and with greater safety than ever before.
The bar gauge comes with 2 durable aluminum bodies and 3 sets of interchangeable tips that triple its versatility, letting it serve as a squaring stick, a story stick, and a trammel scribe. The gauge bodies are designed to work with easy-to-get 3/8-inch diameter wooden dowels or metal rods, and because you supply them, you can customize the gauge's range to fit the job at hand. The rods, or dowels, secure into the gauge bodies with set screws using an included hex wrench. The length of the gauge adjusts by moving the gauge bodies closer together or farther apart. Large knurled knobs on top let you easily lock in the settings. All 3 sets of tips fit onto the 3/8-inch rods or dowels and secure by tightening set screws with another included hex wrench. The angled tips are perfect for fitting inside the corners of box assemblies to check for square. If you're building a drawer, they're also narrow enough to fit in the grooves of the bottom so you can size your panel precisely. The flat tips allow you to transfer dimensions directly from one part of your project to another. No measuring means no time or material lost because of mistakes with a tape measure. And the flat tips sit flush with the bottom of the gauge bodies so they won't tip over while you're working. With the trammel tips, you're no longer restricted by the limited capacity of your compass. You can draw arcs and circles of practically any size you need, and the tips fit standard size pencils. So, if you want greater accuracy in a variety of applications without the trouble of double and triple checking your measurements, check out the Rockler 3-in-1 bar gauge.
Cabinets, cases, and boxes, holding the pieces in position during assembly can be one of the biggest challenges. The Craig 90-degree corner clamp simplifies the assembly process by aligning and holding corners and partitions at perfect 90-degree angles, so you have both hands free to add fasteners. Unlike some corner clamps that can be cumbersome to use, the 90-degree corner clamp is simple. Plus, it works with 90-degree butt joints and T-joints used to attach shelves and partitions. All you have to do is squeeze the padded handles, and the clamp's cast aluminum wedge and V-shapes draw tight against the inside and outside faces of the joint. This holds the 2 pieces at exactly 90 degrees. A reversible corner stop makes it easy to align the mating pieces in the clamp, while edge stops cast into the outer V help ensure that the edges will be flush and aligned too. With the clamp holding the joint securely together, you can add the fasteners. The 90-degree corner clamp works great for building with Craig pocket hole joinery. It even has access points in the outer V that allow you to drive a Craig screw with the clamp still in position. Openings in the outer V also make it easy to attach the joint with the brad nailer, or even to drill and drive conventional wood screws. The 90-degree corner clamp is great for building drawers, cases, boxes, and more because it works with thin materials and lumber up to 1 inch thick. And thanks to Craig's AutoMax auto-adjusting technology, you never have to readjust the clamp when you move from one material thickness to another. Just squeeze the clamp handles and AutoMax technology does the rest, applying the perfect amount of easy-to-regulate clamping pressure to the joint every time and with every material thickness. When you're looking for a fast, foolproof way to create square corners and perfectly positioned shelves or partitions on your woodworking and do-it-yourself projects, the Craig 90-degree corner clamp is the perfect solution.
One-time tools, the gap and mini gap gauges, are two super handy tools that eliminate the need for accurate measurements to achieve tight-fitting joints. By simply adjusting it to fit the inside or outside of either half of the joint, the other end of the gauge is automatically set to the size needed for a perfect fit. With Woodpecker's standard gauge gap, it's simple to achieve tight-fitting dados. Adjust the two gauge halves to fit over the board's thickness and tighten the knob, and you instantly have a gauge to set up your stacked dado head cutter, as well as a gauge to check your first test cut. And with the interlocking fingers, you can check the gap of a dado and use the opposite end to check your planed board's thickness for a perfect match to the dado's width. Our mini gap gauge is the perfect tool for fitting mortise and tenon joints. Once your mortise is cut, insert the interlocking fingers and spread them against the inside walls of the mortise and tighten the knob. On the opposite end of the gauge is an exact opening needed for checking your tenon's thickness. Now you can trim the tenon and check its fit till you achieve that tight-fitting mortise joint. Woodpecker's gap and mini gap gauges both work the same way. One end has interlocking fingers that allow for checking inside of gaps as small as 1/8 of an inch and as large as 1 1/8 of an inch. The opposite end features a gap opening that automatically changes with the spacing of the fingers and vice versa. Whether you're trying to shim a stacked dado or trim a tenon to a perfect fit, Woodpecker's gap gauges are the perfect tool to take the guesswork out of the process.
Assembly. The Lee box joint and beehive jig, model B975, is a simple, easy-to-use jig for making 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch box joints. Before using the box joint and beehive jig, you will need to make a simple beam. The jig template, which has a 1/2 inch side and a 3/4 inch side, is attached to the top of the beam. The 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch side stop assemblies are attached to each side of the beam. We recommend using 2 pieces of 3/4 inch MDF glued together to make the beam. A standard 2x4 with the edges squared off may also be used. Positioning ridges are located on the underside of the template. With the positioning ridges against the beam, the template is centered and the screw hole locations are marked. Location marks for side stop positioning are then added. The side stops are set in position and the screw holes are marked. A drill press or hand drill is used to drill pilot holes in the beam. The template is aligned with the pilot holes and the beam is secured in place with the provided screws. The side stop assemblies are then secured to the beam. To prevent tear out of your good material, grooves should be routed into each side of the beam. A 9 3/4 inch wide piece of stock is used to aid in routing the grooves. The bit depth is set at 3/4 of an inch. Routing is then done straight in and out of each template opening, through the board, and into the beam. The other end of the board is used to route the grooves in the half-inch side of the beam. You now have a groove routed in each template opening. The beam and jig are ready to use. For use on a router table, handles must be added for safe operation.
Projects have met their match. Introducing the Work Switch Driver. With 2 rotating chucks, you can switch between bits in a second and get your projects done twice as fast. Say goodbye to all the hassle of an ordinary drill. Switch in a second from drilling to driving, Phillips to flat, drill bit to paddle bit, screwdriver to socket. Power through your projects faster and easier with the most innovative drill driver available, the Works Switch Driver. Get yours today.